Hey, Crawlspacers, welcome to our first ASM review show of 2025. Let's introduce the panel. We're starting in the year off with, of course, JR. What's going on, JR?
Is it really a new year?
It is a new year. This is the year I turned 50, JR.
I mean, it just feels like the same like the old year. You know, dark, dreary, depressing.
Come here.
You know,
Come here. Come here. Come here. You're getting a hug. Come on.
No.
Come here.
No, hugs won't do it. Hugs won't do it. So,
well,
hello everyone. How are you?
not as depressed as you, my God.
Well, I'm a realist.
No, you're depressing. But come here. Bring it in, brother. Come on. Hug it out. I like your 20-year-old T-shirt with the from Spider-Man 1.
The classics never go out of style.
That's true. That's true. All right. We also have Christina. What's going on, Christina?
Well, I don't have a Spider-Man related shirt on, but in happier news, tomorrow is my birthday. So,
oh, happy birthday!
Yeah.
Do you mind if we ask how old, or you don't have to share it?
I'll be 34.
34. All right, 34. So you were born in what year? Take me back. 2000. Yeah.
91.
1991. I was in high school. JR, what were you doing in 1991?
I was working. I was already
working. Okay.
In my 30s.
Well, there you go.
I was
All right.
18.
And we also have Sarah. What's going on, Sarah? What were you doing in 1991?
Being born.
You guys are the same age? That's funny.
We are.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
What are you rocking? Sarah, what's the shirt? I see spider something.
I got this hoodie for Christmas.
Nice.
Very
homecoming
nice.
Spidey. So I had to bust it out today for
Very
the show.
good. I like it. Very nice. And we also have this guy. I don't think we had him on at all in 2024. Mike McNulty. Were you on at all last year?
Yeah, I was actually on one time.
Oh, you got to fix your mic, Mike.
Oh, of course I do. All right.
You were on. I can't remember the last time you were on. It's been a minute.
It has been a little bit. Hold on. Let me take a look at this for
Yeah.
a second.
Hopefully that's better.
Yeah, that's better. That's better.
Okay.
What was the last time you were on, Mike?
Perfect. Oh gosh, I know it was reviewing reviewing one of the Amazing Spider-Man issues. I can't remember which one because again, this was during the whole Zeb Wells run, which we hopefully can forget sometime.
You did one of the 60 issues, so
I think so. I think yes.
There you go.
Yeah. All right.
So what were you doing in 1991 when Christina was a newborn baby girl?
Do I really want to answer this question?
Yes, you do. What are you in witness protection? What were you doing in 91?
No. I was freshman year in high school.
I was probably a sophomore, I think. I think I was a sophomore because I graduated in 93. So there you go. All right. Let's see who's in the live chat. We got Ryan Reed. Hope everyone's been good. He's been painting. We don't know if it's an art project or his house.
Good question.
Or a room. We don't know what he's been painting. JR almost
maybe it's
won
one of those things with numbers on them, you know.
Or paint by numbers could be. JR almost won the Green Goblin movie mask. If I would have mailed it to you.
Ryan, that is so mighty swell of you. I swear. Cannot help but be touched.
Yes. We have happy birthday, Christina from Ryan. I was 13 in 91. Good evening, Crawlspacers. Happy birthday, Christina. We got Jeff saying that. Adam says, hiya, everyone. Sarah digging that hat, says Ryan. Jeff was born in 91. Everyone was born in 91.
Yay!
Christina, my goodness.
That's cool.
And Sarah. Adam was born not in 91. He was 11. I love JR. JR Spider-Man 1 shirt. Oh, okay. I think he loves you and the shirt.
Well, I don't see a comma there though.
There's no apostrophe S.
Yeah, I'm kind of confused. You know,
he loves
even
both
a little
of you.
hurt.
He loves your outfit and your shirt. Ryan was born 78. Hey everyone, 1991. I was 3. Thank you, Ryan. Bathrooms and laundry rooms. Okay, you're painting the bathroom and the laundry room. Got it. Gary and the Frozen was -1 in 1991. So there you go. He is
-1.
33 years old. So we have 2 issues. We are continuing to kill Spider-Man. 8 different ways.
Yep.
Yep. We are on, what is this, variant 3, how we kill him, or 4? I forget.
I kind of lost count, to be honest.
I think it's
Because
4.
it's
I think
supposed
so.
to be 4, but it seems like if you count them up, it's like thinking, okay, wait a minute. So he died from, because I was going through my head like what the number size. He died when he was basically gone through that whole black hole thing. Then he died when he grew himself big and small at the same time. Then he died when the one.
If you look here, they have the graves here on the double page spread.
Yeah, he got killed. Yeah, he got killed when he and then he got killed when after he won that one fight with the girl thing. She's just like, oh, screw the rules, I'm just gonna kill you anyway. So that was that. So
This is part 4.
This is part 4 of the killing of Spider-Man. JR, you're leading us off in 2025 with ASM 958 Legacy.
Yeah, and I can't tell you how grateful I am.
Oh, it's like he's just full of joy already.
All right, here we go.
He's cracking the knuckles.
We'll start 2025 on a high note, I guess.
Okay.
You know, there we are. Anyway, the story.
Just take a drag off your oxygen. What is that?
No, that's upstairs along with the CPAP.
Okay, all right.
And the heart meds.
Oh my!
And the kaopectate. And the hemorrhoid cream.
Jesus, all right!
Wow.
I don't have enough time for the medicine cabinet. My God, man.
We get
this is like the
old.
8 lives of JR.
Right.
Killing Spider-Man, keeping JR alive.
Do you want to hear that I'm due for another colonoscopy?
No, you're good God. This is not a medical podcast. We don't want.
Well, I don't know. Peter's getting killed all the time, right? I mean, maybe we should know a little bit more. Maybe we should have a little bit more conversation about medicine and healthcare. But anyway,
God bless.
Let's get on with it, boys and girls. The story opens with Peter Parker, soon to be back to square one with no growth or character development or job or anything. But right now he's working on a magical doohickey in his apartment, overseen by the astral form of Dr. Strange. The purpose of the magical doohickey is not relevant to this story, so I won't try to explain it.
There you go.
Peter then asks Strange a very logical question. How do I stop dying?
Why does God need a starship?
Because as you... Oh, my God.
Sorry.
Not even Star Trek V deserved that. Anyway... As all you boys and girls know, Peter has the 8 magical reeds of Richards that will bring him back to life every time he dies fighting one of the Cylons, which, you know, are the evil robots from Battlestar Galactica. Anyway, while defeating 3 of the Cylons of Chow Mein, I'm not going to work myself into a sweat trying to pronounce all those stupid ass words. Anyway,
the Cylons of Lo Mein. That's his go-to Chinese order, evidently.
So anyway,
take a side of Cylons with my Lo Mein.
He describes it as rather painful, but since I haven't bothered to read the last few issues, and I'm only reading this because Brad wanted me to review it, I'll take Peter's word for it.
Nothing like JR coming in on chapter 4 with no pretext.
Yeah. Strange basically says, are you kidding? You're screwed. You're going up against godlike beings, beating them, and you don't think you're going to take a dirt nap each time? This isn't the Democratic Party where you can get the presidential nomination without putting any effort into it, you know?
Oh my God.
Besides, if you lose, the covenant fails, and the covenant holds together the casket. All right. So is this any relation to like the web of life or whatever keeps the universe connected? and makes a bunch of half-ass Spider-Man knockoffs show up every 6 months
No.
for a stupid-ass
Nope.
spider. I mean,
No.
what is this then? I mean, the Covenant and the Coffin. The Covenant and
It's
the Coffin.
it's actually it's connected to the Cyttorak,
The
guy who
tailbone and then
made,
connected to the
it's who the
wishbone.
guy the deity that basically connected to
Mike.
gave the Juggernaut his powers.
Yep.
He's not
And
listening.
along with the what is it, the band, and also there's a reference of Doctor Strange as the bands of Cyttorak too. So little
JR
nerdy
is
trivia there for you
ignoring. This was rhetorical, Mike. He
He
I know
doesn't
it's
give
totally
a
rhetorical,
crap.
but I
He
figured-
doesn't give a crap what all this is tied to.
Yeah.
He's gonna make a joke
but
of
our
it.
viewers might, in case for people
They don't
who-
care either, actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but with so many threads of life and things being connected to each other, how do you keep up with things? You know, it's.
It's called Wikipedia.
I mean,
There you
it's
go.
like, oh
If you
yeah,
want-
there's a reliable source. All right. All righty. So anyway, okay. So anyway, if the covenant fails and the casket falls, every single human being on earth is going to face the choice of unimaginable suffering.
And
Or
if the bow
perpetually shoving
breaks,
poop on
the
the streets of
covenant
San
will
Francisco.
fall. The down will go JR. Down the stairs he'll fall.
Okay.
Are you done?
No, I can remix that.
Are you done?
Oh, am I getting on the list for 2025 on the first show? Oh, I
No,
thought you were.
you're already far too down in purgatory to ever you have
What
to
do you-
crawl up to get on the list.
What are you drinking? Metamucil?
It's Prime.
Pepto?
No, it's-
What is
no,
that? Pepto?
It's Prime, and it's a really good drink. So don't talk crap about that, Brad. Leave
Oh,
him
I thought-
alone about his Prime.
Did you
That's
get
right.
free shipping on that? What is it?
It's a drink.
Oh,
It's a
okay.
drink.
Yeah,
it
those
gives
are
me
good.
energy.
I've had those
It
before.
Is it from
hydrates me.
Amazon?
No, it is really good though.
Yeah.
Okay.
Particularly strawberry banana. So anyway,
Mhm.
it hydrates me for these long narrative episodes that I have to go through. Anyway,
Oh, God.
since Brad was singing, I'm going to repeat my last line. And if the covenant fails and the casket falls, every single human being on earth is going to face the choice of unimaginable suffering or perpetually shoveling poop on the streets of San Francisco. Well, Peter wants to know a little more about what the heck the casket is and what's holding it back, because, if he's going to die horribly a bunch of times, he'd like to know what the stakes truly are.
Yeah.
But Dr. Strange tells him that Marvel is keeping this thing going on till the end of March, and we have to wait. And we have to wait till the X-Men can be shoehorned into the story, because apparently their title sucks and they need a boost. So both Peter and the reader are just going to have to suffer through repetitive plot devices before getting there. Oh, good luck with the twins, Strange says, and leaves Peter thinking there's got to be a way to stop all this dying crap. All right. Well, the scene shifts to an art gallery. Why? I don't know. Because I didn't read the previous issues. Randy Robertson is talking up, including some of Peter's old photos of Spider-Man fighting some of his classic villains. Now, some of these photos look uncomfortably similar to actual Spider-Man covers.
Hey, you got two Salvia Simas and a Ditko right here.
Yeah, yeah. So anyway, Peter is, why do you want these? And Randy says, well, because they tell a classic David and Goliath story in which the overmatched hero triumphs over evil while getting his ass kicked in the process, which actually ignores the fact that in the actual biblical story, Goliath never lays a hand on David because he gets plunked in the middle of the forehead by a rock and drops dead. So, that shows ignorance of the original story. But anyway, Peter gets unnerved for a
Did you
second.
just review the Bible? Did I
Yes,
just
he
hear
did.
you review the Bible?
Yes, he did.
You just took. The writer
Yeah,
of the
he calls it
Bible
David
needs to
and Goliath
concentrate on
story
character
because-
development, is what I think I just heard.
He calls it a David and Goliath story because Spider-Man, even though he gets busted up and hurt, he still overcomes. But if you're going to compare it to David and Goliath, Goliath never even got near David. David just took a slingshot, the rock, boom, he's dead.
I think
So
God
what-
needs to
what's
do
the
another
point?
pass on that script, don't you?
What's the analogy? I don't get the analogy. But anyway,
Okay, God bless.
Peter gets unnerved because he sees a creepy old 61-year-old man waving and thinks it. Well, wait a minute. No, that was me.
I was like, I'm
Okay.
going to review your book. My name's JR.
Peter
the
sees
window.
a creepy old man and thinks it's one of the Cylons, but it's just the father of the gal putting on the exhibit.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Now the scene shifts to a rooftop where what appear to be a couple of Mephisto knockoffs are watching Peter, just like Kane used to. Anyway, these are the villains of this issue and next, boys and girls.
They're looking at you in this frame. It looks like they're staring at you as you review their book.
Well, the guy's not. He's staring at his dogs, and I don't know, the girl. She's got eyes like the Star Trek episode where no man has gone before, with guest starring Gary Lockwood and Sally Kellerman.
Yeah,
1965.
Yep.
60 years ago. Oh my God, Star Trek is 60 years old.
It is. I remember when it was 25.
All right. Well, these are brother and sister, and the brother, of course, has daddy issues because, of course, he does. And he wants to go ahead and fight Spider-Man and beat him so daddy will love him. And his sister says, go right ahead and get your ass kicked. I don't care. We next see Peter helping out Aunt May with some of this feast stuff. And he says, oh, whoa, Aunt May, time to shave that mustache off. You look.
What? Where do you see that?
No, go down. Come on. Okay. No. Well, I mean, go up. Okay. Focus this top picture here. Focus on that. Aunt May's got a mustache.
Oh, that's her lip. Well,
it's pretty wide. It looks like a slip of the inker did a little accident there.
That's the anchor did not trace those lips very well, did he?
Either that or she's taking makeup tips from Heath Ledger. Holy cow.
I get that reference.
Did you get the Snidely Whiplash reference?
Oh my goodness, no. But anyway, the lips look much better in panel 2.
Snidely Whiplash. He's the arch villain of actually one of Josh's national heroes, Dudley Do-Right.
Wow. Sorry, right. Canada. Yeah.
All right. Whoops. Okay. Anyway, Peter. Aunt May wants to know if Norman Osborn has given him the check for her grift, which Peter hands over. So, anyway, she asks if he and Shay, the worthless girlfriend none of us give a shit about, are coming over for dinner tonight because she likes Shay because she really knows where it's at. Or was that Carly Cooper who knew where it was at?
Well, basically, Aunt May wants Peter to give her grandkids. It's basically so he doesn't care who it is at this point.
Well, he should have told him to stay married to Mary Jane.
All she's got to do is go into the multiverse, and she's got 1 billion of them.
I know.
She's got Mayday Parker. She's got a whole bunch of them. She's got a ton of grandkids.
Well, while Brother Knockoff is watching, Peter changes to Sorcerer Spider-Man to go head-to-head and get the party started. So he goes to Brother Knockoff to issue the challenge. And the brother says, whoa, don't stand so close to me.
Don't stand.
Because
Sting reference, police.
Because if you saw the title of this story, it's called King of Pain. So anyway.
Oh, look at you and your hip police references.
So close to me.
Nice.
So he says, I'm supposed to issue the challenge. You can't do it. And the sister says, yeah, you can, asshole. Get over it. All right. So Sister Knockoff, whose name is probably Roxanne, says that she'll fight Spider-Man after her brother loses because, and being something of a cheater, Brother Knockoff unleashes his devil hounds, his crimson canines, who really are, I don't know how anyone can tell they're dogs. They look just like giant teeth. But anyway, unleashes them to deal with the unsuspecting public and compromise Spider-Man's focus. Well, Spidey uses supernatural webbing that he calls the spell, the binding of Arceus, to web them up. However, Spider-Man's pulling a fast one on Brother Knockoff, who, like Brad, doesn't get some of these pop culture references because the spell was not a binding spell because it actually sends the dogs back where they came from, and Arceus is a Pokemon. So, not a demon.
Yep.
So Spider-Man clocks Brother Knockoff. Anyway, meanwhile, Shay arrives at Aunt May's, and Peter, of course, is late. And Shay asks if he was always like this. And It's like, okay, oh, here we go again. Let's turn the clock back to 1967 or 8 when Peter is always late for showing up to dinner and always late for showing up on dates. I can't wait until Joe Kelly starts the run so we can get another 100 issues of this stuff. All right, back to the fight. Spidey asks Brother Knockoff, "You going to give up?" Brother Knockoff remains defiant. So Spider-Man just proceeds to kick his ass. So anyway, after watching about enough of this, Sister Knockoff ends the fight. And Spider-Man is thinking, boy, I got out of this easy. I didn't die. So he says, let's go, girl. You're going to fight? And she brings in her red crystal ball, and Spider-Man looks at it and wonders if there's a message in that bottle. To be continued. To be continued.
Bravo to the police references throughout.
Yep.
Throughout. Very nice. Very nice. I think this girl should be called Roxanne for the whole thing. That was really fun. Also, real quick reference, Matt Roberts, Mr. Comics was in the letters pages right here. So there you go. This is his 10th letter published in ASM. So congrats.
Wow.
Very cool. All right, let's go around. What, JR?
He thought these were amazing issues. Has he been watching this show?
He is entitled to his own opinion, just like
is.
you are. So let's hear your grade, sir. The first book of 2025, you're going to give a what?
Think. C minus.
C minus. Christina.
It's better than the piece of crap that I reviewed last night. I'll give it a C.
JR, have you been reading Spec Spider-Man?
No.
Good Lord, Christina had a turd last night. Oh,
is that the one would they go into the fairyland or something?
Yes.
Go into the fairyland.
Oh God, yeah. Because
holy Hannah. Okay, so we got a C. What we got? JR, a C
minus.
C minus. A Christina gave it a C, I think.
Yep.
Okay, Sarah.
C minus.
C minus. Mike.
The issue gets a C. The recap by JR gets an A. So
Always.
Yes.
I was more interested in JR's recap than I was in the book.
Yep.
Yeah.
So.
All right, you guys are gonna be shocked. I'm gonna give this one a B minus.
That's okay.
B
I'm
minus.
gonna cry too, JR. What?
I'm anxious to talk about the pros. JR, I want to hear it. What do you like?
I only really have one pro, but that's finally Spider-Man easily wins a fight.
Yes.
He doesn't get his butt kicked. He doesn't need to be rescued. He doesn't have to go through any kind of, MacGyvering to save the day. He just kicks his guy's ass and he does it easily. It's about damn time.
That is one of my biggest pros.
Going on in Ultimate.
That's my biggest pro of this issue. It is a character that feels like he's been fighting for more than 5 minutes. He's actually has the advantage over this character. It felt a little bit of confidence, unlike what they like to show him as a teenager that doesn't know what the hell he's doing. He's a character that's been around the Marvel Universe in that time, at least 10 years, I would say. And he should know a thing. He should know. I like his, hey, I tricked him. I said the spell out loud. And you know what? I was thinking ahead. I'm smart.
Yes.
I thought that was really, really on part. And to Ireland, Justina, is that her?
Justina Ireland. Yeah.
Yep.
Night and day from what we're getting next issue, in my opinion, for the writing of this character. They caught me on a good day, but this felt like the Spider-Man I like.
And the image you're showing here for those who are listening on the podcast and not looking on the YouTube, I think this is an awesome splash page because it's showing it's basically it's showing a lot of the dynamicism of the fight thing and how it's very action heavy and everything like this, and how it kind of emphasizes the quickness and everything. It's really kind of it's striking everything like this, but so there's granted,
is the art a pro out of everybody? It is for me.
I mean, in some places it is. I mean, granted, that one with that weird inking issues aside.
Oh yeah, Aunt May's mustache.
Yeah,
JR, you said no. You're not a fan of this art. Tell me why.
Well, one, Aunt May's mustache is one, but I
that's an inking problem.
Again, I know what I like, and I know what I like, and this just, I mean, I just thought Peter looked strange. You know, I just, it's like, that's not Peter Parker. That's some doughboy. You know, I mean,
I think that looks more like Peter Parker than the preview I've got on the front page of Peter Parker. And Neil and I and Christina and Josh were talking last night on Patreon. This feels like an heir to John Romita Jr. I get a Romita Jr. vibe out of this artist, seriously. And maybe a little bit of Michael Wieringo mixed in. Like if Michael Wieringo and Romita Jr. had a kid, this is feeling very much like it. And that doesn't look like a Peter Parker to you?
Well, some do and some don't.
Okay.
The first panel, I didn't think was, I don't know. Like I said, I can't draw a straight line with a straight edge. Yeah, I didn't care for this. Something just didn't ring true with it. But anyway.
But I get you on Aunt May's mustache.
Art is entirely subjective. So
I agree. But okay. Any other pros, JR?
No.
Okay. Other pros around. Sarah, anything pros you liked? We haven't mentioned.
No. That was pretty much all I was.
Mike, any pros out of you before we move to JR's long list of bullet pointed cons?
I think you actually pretty much covered the big pro that I have about this issue, about the way he actually that this feels like how Spider-Man should be. Oh, if you subtracted all the magic stuff that he uses, and everything like that. Yeah. But of course. But yeah, in terms of how he is fighting and Quippage and everything, and I think the Pokemon line was a good one.
Yes.
That was
that was a good so it's like
help me out. I am not into Pokemon. What did that mean?
Because the whole idea was the fact that that he's calling out the spells, right? He's throughout the whole series he's been criticized for that. And he says, "Oh, you guys like the fact that he makes a pop culture reference and he uses as a joke, and they're using that as a means of tricking these guys." It's like, oh, that's kind of feels like something Spider-Man would do.
The spell that he said was actually the name of a Pokemon character.
Yes, it actually was a name.
Okay.
That's yeah. So JR was not being facetious about that. That's actually in the book. Yep, that's something he didn't actually make up for this review thing.
He wasn't making shit up.
No, I know. Yeah. JR has a tendency, to make things up. Christina, do you have any pros we not mention?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
We talked about this the last time we reviewed it. I do think Justina Ireland's at least trying to do a better job than Joe Kelly and what she's been doing with it. So I cracked up at the Pokemon joke. One of the times I actually chuckled reading it. So
I was a little tough on Ireland last issue because it felt like the best of, it's like they order 22 episodes for a series each season, and you have a flashback episode where they only have to record like 15 minutes of new content and the rest is a rerun. I thought that last issue felt like one of those wrap-up shows. I think she has a little bit more fire under her to really knock this out of the park than Joe Kelly does. She really wants to impress, and she did impress me on this one. Much more than what Joe Kelly has done previously and what he did on the next issue. So if she's going to bring this type of stuff, I'm in there. I'm in it for her. She's stuck with a bad concept, but she did good with what she was given, in my opinion.
Yeah.
All right, JR, I'll do a visual of your very first con, the Aunt May mustache. What's else is on the bullet points of cons, sir?
Well, the story is, I mean, it's not a offensive story. I mean, but it's just not a Spider-Man story. It's not a Spider-Man story. And I don't like the way Aunt May has been written in these last few issues. Oh, well, I didn't read them, so how do I know? But we've talked about Shay and how utterly useless. I mean, that no one is interested in that relationship. I'm just getting tired of Aunt May either not knowing that Peter is Spider-Man and being the fool this entire time. This is just a very boring paint by numbers book, kind of like Ryan was doing in his bathroom and laundry room.
It's annoying to the longtime fan like us who's been reading it more than 5-10 years However, I mean, Aunt May knows in the freaking MCU, so it's not a foreign concept. And even if you watch those movies, you're like, I wonder why Aunt May doesn't know. If you really care about tying the universes together, it does make her come across as a fool. I agree. She should know. And it doesn't do good on the character development of Peter Parker that hides it from her too.
Yeah, and like in the beginning of Spider-Man, like a big part of the reason he didn't tell her is because he literally was afraid that it would kill her. And like that's not where we're at. You know what
She's
I mean?
at least 20 years younger than 1963's Aunt May. You know, I'd say this lady is late 60s. Aunt May in the 60s by Ditko was 90. If I had to guess. Like, she was the crypt keeper. But this Aunt May, I mean, she's much hipper. She has a job. She volunteers a lot more. The other one was just a heartbeat away from a heart failure. I mean, she was always in the hospital. Always had to get medication to her. Different, almost totally different character, in fact.
I mean, adding to this, I mean, what you're touching on, the fact that you have once again, Peter's with a love interest who doesn't know is about his dual identity, how he's always late and showing up, and you just keep, and you're going through the same trope here about like, well, why are you sticking with this guy then? And also, and then the other thing is that, you know, Shay, honestly, she's not annoying as compared to some of the other stuff we've gotten over the course of a while, but she's not really, there's nothing that really stands out about her. She's just kind of there. She's just like, she's basically kind of just at this point, I mean, granted, she's just kind of feels like comes across as generic girlfriend number, whatever and so it's just like, but it's playing. So it's playing a lot on some of the tropes that keep happening over and over again, that apparently I guess Marvel likes to go with Spider-Man all the time now, because I guess that's what they feel comfortable with again. So so it's just, so this whole subplot with May and Shay, it's like, you just kind of forget about it essentially. Yeah,
and as you were talking, it makes me think like there are some things that whoever is in charge of these decisions wants to keep the same, and it's not working, and we're forcing these things, and it's not good for the character, it's not good for the fans, it's not good for the book, and I'm just not understanding why that's not being figured out.
Other cons, what have we not mentioned?
The fact that he's still sort of using magic, because the last issue that we had before, written by Ireland, he didn't use magic. He used his brain power in this too, but he was also at the same time using magic. And then at this point in the story, we still don't really know what this is leading up to and stuff yet. So, and then Juggernaut, remember, was in that last issue, and he hasn't even popped up in these two issues yet. So,
oh, he'll probably be in that X-Men crossover deal, whatever it is.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he'll be showing up.
This is the first time Spider-Man's ever said the word a-hole in a comic book in my memory. Anybody offended by that? Or I got it kind of a laugh out of it, but
not particularly. I mean,
never heard Spider-Man call anybody an a-hole. I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah.
I know in past podcasts we've debated Spider-Man's cussing level. But again, he's 10 years on. He's a little bit older than his 18-year-old self or 16-year-old self. When Tom Holland said it in
Far From Home.
Far From Home, it felt a little wrong since he was a high schooler. But trust me, high schoolers cuss.
Oh, yeah.
Sarah and I can attest to that. But anyway, language is a little bit different than the 1960s anyway. So anyway, I just thought it's a cussing Spider-Man, which is a little bit different. Another thing I wanted to hit up before we move on to the next issue. If you look into the letters pages, there was a little bit of discussion from this letter from MC Robinson. He was like, I have no idea why you've been writing Amazing Spider-Man the way you've been writing it. It's done nothing new and merely exists to return to status quo. Let's see. 2 words. There's why is sales still so good? Collector culture, and you know this. You know that this is the only reason this book still makes the top 20. And with that, I give a challenge. Give me a year to write all of Amazing Spider-Man. I'll write 60 issues, and that would fix Spider-Man. My writing credits, well, I did a little Kim Possible fan fiction, a little Sonic the Hedgehog fan fiction. I did when I was in high school. I'm not a professional writer, but even I can fix this crap. Let me do what I do. Let me do whatever I want. If I want to retcon something, let me do it. If I want to redeem a character, a.k.a. Ben Reilly, let me redeem him. No crossovers right off the bat. That issue 25 thing with Dark Web, it stopped the story dead. Truth. Also, I'm well aware that you probably won't ever publish this or read it.
Too late.
Whoa.
Psych. Either way, the run of Amazing Spider was so damn bad that I felt an amateur like me could write a better 60-issue run. May you have a lovely day. May your dog. No, I'm just kidding. As I share, while I detest your Amazing Spider-Man run, you're merely a lovely person on the outside. May whatever God you worship smile upon you and have a great time. Sincerely, J.R. Fettinger. No, wait a minute. MC Robinson.
I have to say I haven't written Kim Possible fan fiction in 10 years.
Oh, so in 10 years. Okay.
Wow.
Nick Lowe writes back, thanks for the kind wishes and generous offer, MC Hammer. Sorry you don't like the previous run. Obviously, I disagree with your summation of the story. Wouldn't it be funny if he goes, yeah, I thought it sucked too. But you're entitled to your opinion. Everyone, yeah. We only hire writers with previously published work, so fan fiction of Kim Possible is not published, especially on a twice-monthly book like ASM, a great body of work experience. So keep working, MC Hammer. Make some comics self-publish and get published, and who knows, maybe you will write Amazing Spider-Man one more day. You may think you represent a vast readership of millions in your views, but that's not really what I'm seeing from my vantage point. As far as your analysis of our sales and such, you'd have to take my word that while variant covers are awesome, they're not the only reason why we still sell so many copies of Amazing Spider-Man. There are a myriad of reasons, the biggest being that Stan and Steve created the best character in the history of the storytelling, and we're very lucky to continue telling his story. What do you all think of that?
Yes, because we're stuck in the don't even get me started. Okay.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
No, get started, Sarah. Go. Get
Do
started.
it.
Do it.
No, like
Go.
I can't. Okay, Stan and Steve created a wonderful character. Okay, we can't stay there. We can't stay with all these things that used to work. Like, it's not working. This book is so terrible. Like, I'm so sorry. Like, I love Spider-Man. And I love like the movies and the cartoons, and I love all the things about this character. But I find myself making myself read this book, and it should not be that way.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
It should not. And stuff needs to change. It needs to change. And we'll talk about this in Spider News, but I don't think it's going to change in April either.
Mm-hmm. And here's what's funny about this, because I guess the guy who wrote this is actually he's actually a radio host of a program called As Heard on TV. So which he basically in that show is in that radio show talks about, pop culture, kind of stuff anyway. But I do think it's so on the one hand, reading this as it's on the one hand, the guy writing it is correct about the reason why sales of Amazing Spider-Man are where, and it's not just variant covers, it's also buying habits, because people just basically pick this Amazing Spider-Man up because it's a habit. It's just they pick it up, and it's a part of the collector's thing. It's also, granted, people like the character and they like it for the character. There's other reasons why the book is a success, why the book remains in that top 10 thing, where he gets a little way over the top here is to think, I can write a better book and everything. Well, at least he's honest about the fact that his writing credits are fan fiction. But when you kind of make that claim that you could write something like that, you better back it up. And I think Nick Lowe, to his credit, was giving a little bit of general advice as well. We got to make sure you have some credited writing work like you're established before you can tackle something like this, which totally makes sense, because the Amazing Spider-Man should be a top, basically for the A-list writing talent thing, because even J. Michael Straczynski before he had to prove his, he had to write comic book series, I guess, Rising Stars or anything, before he got on Amazing Spider-Man, and he was already good. He was well known. He was known as writing for television with Babylon 5, right?
Yeah.
So you have to show like some previous credited work before you can tackle something like this.
He also asked for no interference, and that's
not going to happen.
Whatever job you get in, there's going to be interference.
Right.
There's someone telling Nick Lowe that you can't do X, Y, and Z with Spider-Man. Nick Lowe then tells the writer he can't do X, Y, Z, and A, B, and C.
And not for a comic like Spider-Man, where it would because it is such an A-list character. Like, it's not like you're writing for, say, I don't know, you're coming up with try to pick a character like a Dazzler comic or something. I don't know.
Right.
But,
you can do a little bit more with Dazzler. They get away with Daredevil more than Spider-Man, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and haven't some of the best stories been things that editor or the higher ups or whatever were not fans of? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like Gwen Stacy, and I'm sure we can come up with some other stories as well. But like, I just don't understand. I don't know if it's fear of change or what. I don't know.
It's fear of ruining the character that prints some money.
Mm-hmm.
That's what the fear is.
We're on the way there. Yes, it's a slow and steady decline, but like we're on the way there.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Christina, Sarah, any other comments for the cons before we move on?
I was gonna say the fact that they're doing this to him. We saw the progression in the comics over the years. Him graduating high school, him graduating college. He was a teacher for a time. He got married. He was doing other things for a while, still kind of working at the Bugle and stuff. And it's like they were doing that, and then after one more day, they went backwards with him for whatever reason. And like we all talked about, it's fear, and it's like, but you need to try to progress him some, because that's why Ultimate Spider-Man is selling better too, because he's progressing in that. So
are the numbers better for that book?
Yes.
Yeah, they are, because because Ultimate Spider-Man is actually at this point is actually if you're just going by the ICV2 charts, it's trending better. It's trending higher than Amazing Spider-Man is. I mean, Amazing Spider-Man is still kind of in that top 10 category thing, but Ultimate Spider-Man at this point is kind of like either 1 or 2, because it's like next to like Absolute Batman now. So
That's interesting. I didn't know that. I mean, I've been reading both, obviously, but that's interesting.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to Chad. Jeff gives it a B-. Mr. Comics gave it a B-, same as me. Mr. Comics, we are on the same page. D for didn't read it. Zach gives it a B+. Let's go through a few of these comments. Also, thank you to Venkman for the super chat. He says, I think the only reason Aunt May currently doesn't know is that somebody somewhere at Marvel wants the status quo of Aunt May not knowing, which doesn't make a lick of sense when Jonah knows.
Yep.
Fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's above Nick Lowe? It's Dan Buckley, and you have CB Cebulski. Maybe they don't want Aunt May to know. I mean, the thing is, even if she does eventually know, it's a retread. Straczynski did it.
Oh yeah.
JMD Mateus did it. Aunt May has known several times. This would be the trifecta of her learning. But it would prevent dumb stories or dumb scenes like we saw in this issue of Shay saying, hey, Aunt May, is he really unreliable? Yeah, he's kind of a dumbass, but he's a good boy. And it just doesn't ring true.
No.
Especially to the longtime reader, even the movie watcher, that Aunt May is this dumb. And saddled with the unknowing, and Peter being a jerk not telling her after all these years. But anyway, Vinkman, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate that. Where did I leave off? Zach says, May has lost 2 husbands and a fiance. I think she's far more mentally strong than to give her credit for. I can't imagine new readers thinking this is anything great. Wasn't a con from Stanley Romita Sr. era was that Peter wouldn't tell Gwen he was Spider-Man. What do you think of that, JR? You were reading back then. What'd you think back in '73?
Well, the thing is, in '73, I was 10 years old, but
I wasn't born.
I don't know. I as a young person, it was aggravating, but I really didn't know until I got older just how utterly irresponsible the character is being by not telling the people closest to him that of who he is. I mean, it just because even when you're a child though, and you read it, you just think, God, are these people dumb? Are these people Lois Lane 1950s Superman dumb? And
also, I think
but as you get older, you just realize that the people aren't this dumb, and it's unrealistic to believe that they're this dumb. And two, Peter just, like I said, looks more immature and irresponsible by not telling, because enough people out there know that he's Spider-Man, and like I always said back in the day, Aunt May back before Norman became unnormed or whatever. It's like, Peter ought to tell those closest to him, when you see Norman Osborn approaching you, run. You're just irresponsible if you let your friends and family be anywhere near this guy. So anyway, that's that.
Another thing, I think, because reason I'm saying 1973, and not the year Gwen died. I think that's the year Gwen died. Am I
Well,
off?
Gwen was looking pretty well like a dipshit. That's one reason Jerry Conway decided to kill her.
Well, anyway, I think that, again, this is fans viewing Spider-Man with 60-year-old glasses. In 1973, Spider-Man was a fairly new character, and I can understand a writer giving him drama. Does the girlfriend know he's balancing the girlfriend, the real life, and the superhero life? So I can understand that gives you drama with the character. We are viewing Spider-Man 60 years on lying to his aunt. So in their time, he's been lying to her for 10 years in this time frame. I don't know. Enigma thinks Aunt May's
there's tropes.
Aunt May thinks is a DILF. My goodness. Let's see. Ryan says, also playing safe with the Brand New Day writers because they're afraid to actually expand on May as a character. Yeah, I remember Venkman. Yeah, George did have a problem with Spider-Man cussing. They're not going to give this book to a no-name like this Robinson person. No, I don't know. I can understand why they wouldn't.
Was he really serious though? Like, do we think that person who wrote that letter was actually serious? Like, there's no way. No.
Honestly, even if you're applying for any job, they're not going to give you the general manager job or the executive or the director job without them knowing what you've done before.
Yeah.
And if I'm going to be in charge of Marvel, because I've been buying them for 40 years, well, I don't know. That does give me that I know what I'm talking about. But anyway.
If you want to discredit the other side, though, you print an opinion that is obnoxious and petulant to show, how this is the other side thinks. We know what we're doing, because listen to this guy.
Yeah, true.
So it's disingenuous, on Marvel's part publishing this letter. So
Tevia gives this one an F, mainly because it makes no sense on the fact that Peter doesn't grieve about Mary Jane, but Spider-Boy is just dumb. Yeah, I agree.
Well, you're getting a little ahead of yourself there a little bit, but we'll get there.
Let's see. Straczynski was the last great Spider-Man writer. Let's see. Even Joe Kelly's wondering why Marvel keeps hiring him for ASM. It's a fear that the character has moved on and they are still stuck in the past that was safe for them. Let's see what else we got. Adam says Amazing Spider-Man as a comic is a zombie IP. Does that mean I've never heard it called a zombie IP. I've heard of
intellectual property, but
like a Charlie Brown kind of deal where he never gets older. The kids in the family circus never grow up. Stuff like that. Tevia says Ultimate Spider-Man is a success because it allowed Peter to grow up. Matt says I'm ready to drop the ASM title, and I've been a fan of the character since 1977. And what Marvel has to know is no growth means no new readers. All right. Let's see. Technically, aren't we closer to collecting Spider-Man for 45 years, Brad? Yes, you're right. I started when I was 5.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. All right. So, Mike, you have the next issue, and
yes, I do.
We are going
and
to pop it up.
Everyone, get ready to get your Zoloft ready because wow,
all right,
because dang.
Hold on, give me a minute.
Yeah, right. So, well, we start the issue basically with Joe Kelly writing, although I kind of think JR may have written some of this, especially after reading the first page, because the person he calls Roxanne, who is officially named Syra in this book, she basically essentially tells Spider-Man and the reader, you realize this is all a waste of time. All right? Yeah. We're just this whole thing, this whole contest, this was all made up and everything. I just want to just go home and just sit back, drink some wine. Why, you're just having to do this whole fight. The whole thing is meaningless. Okay. This whole thing. So
we know we're the readers.
We're the reader. Yeah. Yes. Yep. Thanks, Joe Kelly. We kind of got that point across. Yep. And meanwhile, her brother's like, come on, let me just beat him up. I got a second chance. She's like, no. And they tell, and the funniest moment on the entire book here, where they basically just tell him, where he calls him a shut up, you tinfoil Loki, which is like, okay.
That was, I did.
Yeah, that was good.
That. Silent scion of dog. Beep.
Dog. Yeah. And it's like, okay, good. Joe Kelly still has some jokes. Well, good luck. Well, and now guess what? The jokes are now gone after this, because get your laughed over, because now she decides to basically say, tell Spidey, okay, here, and Spider-Man's like, okay, I'm going to get my spells ready. And she's like, no. This is how it's going to work. You remember that Frank Herbert's Dune, or if you watch the movie, and that Gom Jabbar thing where Paul puts his hand in there and everything? Well, you're not going to put your
word Paul, okay?
Yeah, I know, but but you're not going to put your hand in a box. You're going to hold this. You're going to hold this crystal ball, and it's not going to give you searing pain and hot searing pain. It's going to show you the truth about the meaning of all existence and life, the universe, and everything. Okay. And it's like, okay, so Spider-Man's like holds the crystal ball, and guess what? We're back in the COVID pandemic, folks, because we got social distancing, masks, and of course Aunt May being hospitalized yet again, and she's dying yet again, because in the whole narrative talks about how there's this global pandemic and everyone, and it's like,
did you catch who caused the pandemic?
No, well, it's
the Essex virus, which is Mr. Sinister.
Sure. Yes.
Yeah,
okay.
Mr. Sinister caused it.
Yep. So we're back to this, and then so she's in the hospital. So she's basically dying, and the doctor said we can give her treatment, and then Aunt May's like, no, give it to someone who's more deserving, and it said, and the narration says that she dies, like basically through a morphine drip, and Peter can't, and she can't. And she wished that she could have kissed Peter one goodbye and told him her son.
And she dies among strangers. That's so cold.
Yeah. I know. Ugh. And Peter's like, really? Do you know how many times Aunt May has?
I've seen this crap 3 times this month already. Lady. Get out of here with this.
This is just one more. This is just one more day for me, basically. Kind of like.
Nice.
Yeah. I mean,
he said Paul and one more day within the last 1 minute, and this is why Mike's on once a year. I'm just kidding.
and then she shows us the next scene, and this one is showing Spider-Man fighting alongside Mary Jane as Jackpot against the Hobgoblin.
What's up with Mary Jane's smiley face emoji? Shields?
Well, she must have rolled something about smiley emoji powers on her little Ben 10 wristwatch, I guess. But,
this looks good until I get up here. Oh my!
Yeah, but he's like, so the whole time they're fighting everything, that the Syra is basically monologuing how Mary Jane essentially, like, all the decisions, like all the stuff that she's had to go for, and then she's like thinking, but the Mary Jane's like, you know what? Maybe I should have made different choices with my life, and And as the Hobgoblin kills her, and as she dies in Peter's arms, Mary Jane's like, I never hit the jackpot. It all feels so like I feel just so dissatisfied and dies. And Spider-Man's like, okay, yes, I know my loved ones are in danger thing, but you know what? But Tyra's like, no, wait, there's more. And we get panel after panel of all these people dying. Like J. Jonah Jameson dies of a brain embolism and his media empire gets sold. Shay, who we finally learned what her middle name, gets killed in a car accident by a drunk driver. Randy Robertson basically gets trampled to death by during a protest, and he wonders, gee, was it all worth it? Black Cat somehow doesn't measure the distance of a building right when swinging and falls to her death, and then basically all of her ill-gotten gains are sold to charity. Betty Brant dies basically surrounded by her loved ones and just peacefully goes. Norman Osborn, we find out that there were 78 best-selling nonfiction books, probably most of them written by JR.
I know, right?
Basically talking about basically examining his life at, was he a hero? Was he a villain? Was he a father and everything? And then over the time, he becomes a trivia question. And then finally, a footnote in history and just forgotten. And then we get this other splash page of Miles Gonzalo Morales. Remember, this is which blew me away about his middle name. Bailey Briggs, a.k.a. Spider-Boy, and Gwendolyn Maxine Stacy, a.k.a. Spider-Gwen. They die fighting this cataclysmic being. They're not as heroes.
This one looks good, though. I cheered when I saw that one right there.
Yeah, I mean, this is
right through.
Yeah. Well, and while we see all of these images of all these people dying, there's Coulson, who is Phil Coulson, who is now the new Spectre of Death coming. Come on, let's go.
When did this happen, and why Phil
Coulson? I have no idea.
Help me out, chat. When did this guy become Is Thanos going to destroy half the universe to date him? I mean, what's happening? What happened to Lady Death?
He's part of the Infinity Watch now, because now he's one of the Infinity Stones. Now he's the Death Stone, and he was brought back to life as the Death Stone. So now he's part of this new Infinity Watch team where all these where all these people are the Infinity Stones, like Star and Override and all those people we saw in some of these annuals recently. So
in any case,
who cares
the fact that Spider-Man sees all the future generation Spiders like, oh my god, they're just kids. No, you can't, that can't die. And so he tries to tackle Coulson, but Coulson slips away, and then he keeps seeing Coulson taking all these other random people dying, and Spider-Man just tries to stop him and all throughout this, I was like, this is how you understand how pointless this all is, and how it's not the fact that you aren't used to death, and that it's the fact that you can't stop people from, and not just you can't stop people from dying. It's that the fact that once they die, their life doesn't matter. It shows how pointless and futile in the grand scheme of the universe is. And as a result, Peter Parker just breaks down and sobs. However, he doesn't let go of that little crystal ball thing. He still holds on to it. And at that point, Cyrus's dumbass brother, whose name I've already forgotten, decides to go, oh, thanks for distracting him. And he decides to cheat and basically go after Spider-Man and just just kills him again. And then, so when Spider-Man dies again, Coulson's there is like, hey, you're more than halfway there, Spider-Man. Don't give up now. And you don't wait. Come
on, you're living on the prey. You're halfway there.
Yeah, yes. You held on to that. You held on to that crystal ball, Spider-Man. It's like, you're, don't give up.
Hang in
and
there,
then
Spidey.
Yeah, and then we get to the last couple pages where Doctor Strange, or his little astral form, tells Peter's like, okay, Peter, now it's going to get cut from here. These guys are going to they're going to get stronger. They're going to use more imagination. And Peter's like, why? Why do we do the things that we do? Is like, and Doctor Strange's like, well, look, I know this is, I know she kind of does all this stuff, and I know it's tough. And it's like, well, guess what, Doc? I quit. I'm just going to get somebody else. And Dr. Strange's like, but if you do that, the world's going to burn. And then Peter's like, well, let it burn because I don't care. I'm probably going to go to my room and listen to Linkin Park and for the rest of the day because life doesn't matter. And to be continued.
All
Maybe.
Right.
I mean, good God. All right.
Okay. What's your grade on this one, sir?
You know, I don't know.
Does it even matter? Does life reviews? Does anything matter?
Do I really want to give this a grade? Because in the grand scheme of things,
doesn't matter.
You know, it doesn't matter.
Nothing really matters.
I mean, on the oh gosh, I was struggling with this to see what I would actually give it because I was back and forth on it, and it's like, you know what? I guess a C if I'm being really at that low as it can go, but I don't know if I want to give it higher than that.
What'd you give it last issue? Didn't you give the last issue
I gave it a
D?
C also, but no, I gave
C,
it a last issue also, but
wasn't last issue better than this though?
It totally, yeah, it's way more upbeat. That's for dang sure. Because but yeah, okay, but it's just like okay, I'll stick with I'll stick with that grade there because I'm
What
really,
is it? C minus?
Yeah, I'll go with that.
We have a C minus on the table. Sarah, what's your grade?
I'm gonna preface my grade with I'm interested to see like where that bit goes. You know, and I'll explain when we talk about pros and cons. But I gave it a C plus.
C plus. Christina.
I went up a little bit. I like this issue more. I gave it a B minus.
You liked it better than the previous one. Okay.
Yeah, I know that surprised me. So
me too.
JR?
I give it a D.
Yeah. I liked it a lot less. 2 letter grades less than the previous one. I went straight up with JR. D for me. Mike, what's your grade? I mean, what's your pros on it? Sorry.
Okay. I will say this. Yeah, this is definitely a depressing issue.
D for depression.
Because because it definitely it definitely gave the but I will say that I do think it does get, at least initially, Joe Kelly does get the heart of Spider-Man as a character correct, in the sense that he is so willing to not try to withstand like all this pain and everything like this, and the fact that it does examine it from the sense that he is trying to, that it's not so much about his own pain, but trying to prevent other people from dying, and how driven he is to prevent that. Because it does, and so it harkens back to the fact that because eventually how he's trying to, and yes, there is a thing where he can't save everybody, but that doesn't mean he doesn't stop trying to. And I do appreciate the fact that how he is trying to, despite the fact that it's not going to happen, when he's trying to prevent Coulson from trying to prevent, Doom being the specter of death and everything, and then breaks down. I think that's okay. That, to me, that kind of got to the heart of who Spider-Man is. So I did appreciate what Kelly was doing there. So I think I give him some credit to that. But yeah, it's just because, and the thing is that it's a very human moment for him and for Peter. In the sense.
Spider-Man ever met Coulson? Is he that comfortable with a character bawling his eyes out into this character?
Not in ASM, but I believe he's met Coulson in other books.
I don't buy that scene, Mike. I don't see Spider-Man breaking down, and I don't see him believing that this is the future of all of his supporting cast. You are getting to the con I had, the con I have with this. So yeah, I just don't buy it. I don't buy it at all.
I don't, because I agree. I don't necessarily, I mean, the way that the issue ends with him deciding that's it, I'm just going to quit, and I don't care what happens to the rest of the thing. It's like, that did ring false to me. Because I do understand. Now, granted, Spider-Man has given up in the past.
Many times. We've seen it.
But he wouldn't say, like, let the world burn. That's like, no, that's not.
Out of character. I mean, he isn't showing what I said he did last issue, which is a character that's been around the block. These people are lying. He should know that.
Oh yeah.
And the writer should write him like he's smart. He was smart last issue. He's an idiot this one. It's an inconsistent book.
Yeah, of course. And that's the other big problem is the fact it's going back and forth like this between the two different writers. Yeah.
Pros. Christina, you liked it more than I did. What's some pros out of you?
Well, what Mike was saying about that scene with Coulson and stuff, and then him wanting to prevent deaths and stuff. But there was a con that I have, and then I did like the art, and then there's a con that I have, but we'll get to that when we get to cons. So.
Okay. Other pros, JR, you like anything out of this?
Nope.
Sarah?
Nope.
While I agree with Jeff's comment about the deaths being repetitive, while I also agree with the comment on Peter would never give up like that, although he has before temporarily, but never like that in saying something like that. So while I agree with that, I liked the idea, and maybe this is something like I took like as like a personal thing, but like I think that Peter having to see those things, like those deaths of all those people, should help remind him how fragile life is and how valuable it is that he does what he does as Spider-Man, you know? So that's why I said earlier that I hope that I'm interested to see where it goes next, because if they hit on that point, then this book will have made a lot of sense. If they totally mess that up, then yeah, it seems repetitive and ridiculous. But
and I've said in the past, I do appreciate when they reference the other Marvel universe, they keep things consistent. I guess Coulson is the death. If I was the writer, I'd be like, that's freaking dumb. Okay, artist, I want you to draw death like a skeleton with a Sith, and don't just take the Coulson thing out of it. Like, that takes me out of it. Like, the Coulson I know, he collected Avengers trading cards. He was so popular in the Avengers movies, they shoehorned him into the comics. How he's death is never explained really in this book, because I don't read the Infinity Watch. I don't know what's going on in those $4, $5 comics, and they were in annuals, I think.
Was it mentioned as like a editor's note about that? Or
they don't do that. They're still trying to print money.
I don't remember. That's why I was asking.
No, I know they didn't do that, and it would have been nice. Hey, you know, back in issue, like a sentence or two, an editor's note. Wonder why Coulson's Agent Death, see Infinity Watch, that bullshit.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
But that takes me out of it. Was that
recent, Christina? It sounds like you've read that.
Yeah.
I actually haven't. What happened was some of these comics I was reading, they had backstories at the end of the issues where Coulson was brought back to life and he became the Death Stone stuff, and then Thanos was hunting the Infinity Stones again, and then they were having, like Brad said, these annuals, and they were talking about how like Override and Star, Coulson's supposed to be with them with the new Infinity Watch and stuff. So that's how I'm even aware of this stuff. So
there was an amazing Spider-Man.
The last few months.
There was a Spider-Man annual with Infinity Watch on it.
Yep.
And Ron Lim, I think, did it. We had it on satellites, I think. But
yep.
You know. Anything else, pros, Mike?
Well, I think I guess you could. Well, I guess depend on how you like a Spider Boy. Seeing him die as a pro, I don't know. I mean, but I mean, but I think it's just. But no, I think the. But I think that Sarah does touch on a pretty good, very good point. Actually, that I was kind of like expand upon. That I think, I think they're gonna have Peter bounce back from this, obviously, and this is, but yeah, if I go into my constants, I mean, like I said, I kind of agree with you, Brad, about the fact that this is Spider-Man. Just feels like I appreciated what Joe Kelly was trying to do here, but he went way overboard with the whole nihilism that this thing has, and also that Spider-Man's like, oh no, I don't let the world burn, I don't care anymore, kind of thing, and all that stuff at the end. That's like that to me seemed like that was a step too far.
That leads to my con, which is Joe Kelly. When I think of Joe Kelly, I remember reading his Deadpool, and I liked his Deadpool a lot back in the day. Deadpool is a very different character than Spider-Man. What I liked his humor in Deadpool, which I thought would translate. Actually, the very first Spider-Man one of them I read was where Deadpool went back in time to the 60s Ditko Spider-Man era in the 90s. That was a fun little romp. And I wondered what his voice would be, what his humorous voice would be of Spider-Man. What I've seen of Joe Kelly in the 2020s is his love of, I think we've said on this show before, torture porn. He, on Savage Spider-Man, he just destroys Spider-Man. He loves killing. Every issue I've seen, he's torturing our hero with violence, severe violence, death. Where's the fun, Joe Kelly? Where's the Christina Ireland that we just read where he's kind of smart? He's got the upper hand on these villains. No, he's sobbing to a former agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. that he's never met before. Like, he's not smart. He's dumb. He's quitting. He's just saw that these villains are lying to him. And he's
and here's the thing. It even admits in this issue that maybe these are possible futures. They may about these. She even says to him, this may not be how they actually died. This is that they could die like, And so I think, but the whole thing, I guess he's trying to point, I guess her whole point is to show that it's not the inevitability of death. It's like the fact that it's not just that they die. It's just that she's trying to give him across that life has no meaning. And that he kind of buys into that at the end, which is like,
we're fighting a super villain. He should know that she's lying. She's not a dependable, reliable source. J.R. Cons, what's that? What's your biggest cons out of this D- book for you?
Well,
or D, I think.
Having a little trouble articulating it, but one, I mean, the story just doesn't. It just doesn't feel right that this is something that would break Peter, or that it's even
it's not earned.
To be honest, it's even a story worth telling. I mean, to be honest, don't we all at some point in our lives, particularly as we get older, question, look at issues of mortality and meaning, and, when we watch people we love die, and, we, ponder questions about, religion, the afterlife, whether there is one or no. And it's like, I'm sitting here and, and it's like, it's like Peter's not going through anything that I myself haven't gone through. I mean, obviously I haven't, no Mephisto knockoff hasn't shown me a globe. But it's like, the idea that he has to confront the potential, of people dying and the potential meaningless of life. He's been at this too long. I mean, it's like, again, it's not, like I said, it's not even a special trial. It's one that we all go through, so I just don't see it even being worthy of, as you say, bringing Spider-Man to his knees. It just all feels false. This just all feels like a false story.
Doesn't last issue feel true though? Like he's smart, like he is getting one up on these villains he could whoop on a Thursday. But with this one, he's just, the writer is forcing us to, he wants us to feel something that doesn't feel natural.
That was going to be my
like I don't want to take, I just don't want to buy it because I don't feel the buildup is worth it. Like I don't feel like Spider-Man would quit.
The other thing too is like it kind of, if you're thinking about in terms of just just in plot only, this kind of trial feels repetitive compared to the fact that he just had the greatest hits version from the other thing about all of his stuff what happened in his past and possible future. And now we're getting yet another quote unquote greatest hits. Only this time it's,
it's the death greatest hits is what
it's
this
the
is.
Greatest.
And and another thing is we don't give a damn about Roxanne. Of all the people that would make Spider-Man feel something, Roxanne is not the character to do it to Spider-Man.
Well, and it's not like we haven't seen something similar before where he's either experienced or thought about losing people closest to him. And it did feel very random that this was.
It's forced. It's not natural. It's we met Roxanne 3 issues ago. We should be building up who Roxanne is.
Wait, what's her actual name? Because now
Syra.
I don't know. She doesn't have to bring a red light. JR got me on the police thing. I'm going to call the damn gal Roxanne. I like, what's her name again, Mike?
It's Syra.
Roxanne.
And her brother's name is Calix. Yeah, you can tell that there's like
Calix.
Calix.
Calix and Roxanne and Zeus. Isn't that a movie? That should be who these two people are. Roxanne and Zeus. Christina, cons. Any cons out of you? What made it not go to an A?
Well, we already talked about it, but it was going back 2 issues ago that Christina Ireland was using, and Peter actually using his brain in that. We saw him go through the deaths of George Stacy, Uncle Ben, Gwen and stuff, and then and he's not affected by that at the end. In this issue, he sees things that could happen that may not happen, and he's affected by that all of a sudden. So
absolutely, because the writer is forcing us to. I just don't like it. I don't like it at all.
Like the Ghost of Christmas Future.
Yeah, exactly. Right. And this book came out on what? Did it come out on Christmas Day?
Yes, it did. Actually.
Oh,
there you go.
Wow.
No, this one came out last Wednesday.
Oh, it did. Oh, but it still it does feel maybe
it feels like the Ghost of Christmas bullshit. What was it also? Was there anything in the letters pages worth talking about?
No, but I had nothing significant to add as far as cons, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's go through the grades for what chat is thinking about. We got Mr. Comics. He gave it a B+. A- with that Bagley cover. Man, Mr. Comics, we're not feeling that.
The Bagley cover is good. I will give him that. Yeah.
Good,
yeah.
A little bit too much Spider Boy on it, and
well, Spider Boy looks like he's like frowning, like, really? Why am I on this thing? So
they are pushing him hard, aren't they? They are pushing him hard.
I just don't get it. I do not understand.
Nick Lowe and Dan Slott are pushing that hard, forcing it, almost like this plot, or this slot. Yeah, D+ out of Jeff Cole, D+ out of Zach. No grade for me, as I didn't read it. There's a slight bit bear in the wells, but only jest. F for me, mostly because it's just dumb and makes no sense. Also, you're telling me what breaks Peter Parker is not Mary Jane dying his wife, but no, Spider-Boy. Of all characters, that's what breaks Spider-Man. Take out the garbage, is what Tevia says.
I have a question for Tevia. Is there a book that you do enjoy? I'm just curious. What, I'm not asking that in a rude way or anything, but what Spider-Man do you like? Because,
what's your peak? What's your peak, Tevye?
Yeah, I'm just very curious because I know you felt negatively about like the Wells run and you know what's going on now, and that's totally fine. But I'm just curious if you could like in the chat or whatever mention a story or something that like was your jam. That would be cool.
Zach says, or I'll put it up here. Coulson is now the floating head of guilt. Yes, very, very true, Zach. Very true. Yeah. Mr. Comics, I found the inevitability. Yeah. JR, insert your insult here. Of fate and death, a battle you can't defeat. Interesting.
It depends on how you write it, though. That's the thing. Yeah. I mean, it's like like I said in my pro, it's like, the way Spider-Man's trying to stop Coulson to prevent, that feels true to who he is. And the fact that he refuses to drop that thing. Yeah, that feels true to who Peter is. It's after
he
that
he gets on his knees and cries like a little bitch, to quote JR. in episode 135, whatever it is, Spider-Man is not a little quote bitch to get down on his knees to the villain, to Roxanne. You don't have to put on a red light, Spider-Man, because seriously, he has been around the bend. He knows better that Roxanne's lying. What he's doing is not worthless. He should stand up Christina Ireland should write it and say, you know what? I don't believe it. I don't believe any of us. And pops him in the face, gets the red ball, throws it to Roxanne, wraps it up. Then we start new issue number 1. Let's go. Come on.
This is not been effed with by Mysterio and other villains.
For
decades.
He's smarter.
I mean, it's like, this villain is casting illusions. Oh, it's Tuesday.
He's not here. He's not on his knees bawling. That's not my Spider-Man, and it's not the way he should be written. It doesn't ring true.
Can the tagline of this podcast be "Spider-Man is not a little bitch"? Are we allowed to do that?
I don't know.
I mean, it's
no, we are.
And here's the cover art for that episode. Spider-Man's not a little bitch. In font, impact font with a black stroke around it. Spider-Man is not my little bitch. There it is. Everybody smile for the thumbnail. Okay, there you go. Kindred killed him a dozen times and he didn't quit. Truth!
Yeah.
No doubt, Adam. He didn't get on his knees and just go, wah, wah, wah. The hypothetical death of his loved ones were repetitive. Well, we got to pad it out, Jeff Cole. We got 8 more issues to whatever it is.
I'm wondering if anyone noticed the fact that we had 2 whole pages devoted to the death of Aunt May and 2 whole pages devoted to the death of Mary Jane, and everybody else got a single panel.
Yeah.
And then and then the spiders all got a big split. So backface kind of shows you a little bit how I guess the importance of who these cars, and of course, so I found that fascinating, the fact that was there, and also the fact that was Joe Kelly almost self-aware given the current state of Spider-Man about the inevitable, how the pointlessness of all
the character who rang true is this one. I am not someone's little bitch, and I'm not going to die, Coulson, is what Norman is fighting this bad plot. And good for him. He's not going to go out. He's yelling to the writer, not this way, you idiot. I mean, come on. Come on.
Can you go back to the Spider-Boy splash page for me? Just go back to that.
With the miles and everything.
Yeah.
Oh, it's over here. Yeah. Now that rings true.
I love how it is the most violent with Spider-Boy. The other 2 are just kind of laying there, but
laying down. Yeah.
Okay, they're sleeping. Okay, whatever. But he's dead.
And the thing is, I find it funny that Miles Morales' middle name is Gonzalo.
Yeah.
Was that ever a thing? Was that
that was a thing? It was.
Okay, it was. Okay. I thought it was that was the first time I saw it. Wait, it really is?
Mr. Comics, Peter was told this is the way things win. When Mary Jane died, when he was told it would be tomorrow or at age 93, but she will die, and that will not be changed.
Oh, by the way, did you notice how what it mentioned Aunt May's age was when she supposedly dies?
70
it
something.
Was 79.
Right? Mm-hmm.
Which means, wait, how old is she now?
Right.
78? Is she 78? And the other one?
No, she looked 98 when Dick killed her.
Right.
Joe Kelly isn't the writer he was 30 years ago. This book is pathetic. I'm starting to wonder, does Joe Kelly care about Spider-Man? Again, Tevye, I don't think Joe Kelly is going out intentionally. I don't think any writer intentionally says, you know what? I'm going to make a book that sucks.
Right.
But
no.
I disagree with that, but
holy cow, Tevye, you're just hating this. Okay, but I love how Venom draws Bagley. Marvel in my mind has no idea what to do with Peter Parker at all.
Can we go back to the Joe Kelly comment? What was his? I didn't read. I read probably 1 or 2 issues of Deadpool, and I don't even know if that's what Ryan is referring to. What are we Can someone elaborate on that?
I think he's most well known for his Deadpool run. He also did a brief run on X-Men. He also wrote 50 issues of Deadpool and Spider-Man, which wasn't bad.
Spider-Man,
yes, but
Spider-Man and Deadpool was great. I really like that one, actually.
What about his writing? Because I know that that's what he's written, but I've never read it. So what about his writing?
I think his humor. I think his humor of Deadpool is what made that character what we see in the movies.
Okay,
when Liefeld and Fabian Nicieza wrote him, he didn't have the backstory so much, and Joe Kelly really flushed out Deadpool's stuff, which is what everyone knows about Deadpool these days is, as I would say, 80% to Joe Kelly about the characterization of the character, and I would put that on Joe Kelly's shoulders.
Yeah, and also the fact that he's also known because he also got more promise because of Ben 10, because that's where he was one of the guys.
Oh, he
Man
wrote
of
them?
Action.
Yeah,
Man of Action. He was one of the co-creators behind that too, about that series. And so you can see a lot of similarities between. That's why there's a lot of similarities in that show with Spider-Man a lot of times and stuff. So, but
Sarah Tevia has answered your question. He likes the Ultimate Spider-Man. He likes Spider-Girl, Mayday Parker series, and he also liked, where was it?
Yeah, we've been messaging in the comments. But...
He also likes Kraven's Last Hunt, The Birth of Venom, and the Real Clone Saga are also freaking fantastic.
And then he mentioned Nick Spencer as well in a comment a little bit further down.
Let's see. Spencer run was a lot more fun. It had some duds, but Spencer wrote Peter far better overall, says Adam. I agree, Zach. Joe Kelly's Deadpool is Ryan Reynolds. Kelly wrote American Son. Oh, with Harry Osborn. Yep.
The other thing
where they killed the Craven's girl.
The other one that Kelly wrote was a kind of an indie graphic novel, was I Kill Giants. That was actually, which I kind of enjoyed. But that was a interesting one. So he does. So yeah, it's just with this thing here. So it's not that Joe Kelly hasn't, he does have a sense of humor, but he kind of and he a little offbeat. But yeah, he does tend to get, when he gets dark, he gets dark.
He loves to torture. The death is just, Spider-Man it does have death, but it's sparsed out. It's not consistently every issue he's tortured. Yeah. He has some good, he has some wins. I don't think under Joe Kelly I've seen a lot of wins with him. But
I think, and like I said, I think it was ironic that he's talking about the pointlessness of the context being the pointlessness of this, when basically the whole, given the state of where Spider-Man as a comic book series is right now, it's like how it seems like you get so it just felt like the thing is, because it seems like with this particular story, you can kind of see what he's trying to do, like trying to break Spider-Man down so he can build him back up again. But I think it's just,
not with Roxanne, not with 3 issues in of Roxanne.
And not with the fact that he keeps having to kill him over and over. They have to kill him over and over again. And it's like, JR,
don't you think Norman could make him get on his knees and cry?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, Norman is a character, not Roxanne.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Like what?
I mean, Norman Osborn and Doc Ock, other long-term characters could actually make Spider-Man question and cry. Like, man, what is this worth? I've been fighting you guys for 60 years. I'm broken down. Not Roxanne holding her ball. Or Lucy holding the football. Anyway, final thoughts. Let's wrap it up. Christina, final thoughts.
Despite it being a chore to go through, I am interested to see where this ends soon, and then we're going to be getting some of these point issues, like I think point 65 is coming up and stuff. So
we're back to that.
Yeah.
We've got a preview on the front page of the Crawlspace if you want to see a preview. We got a good looking Bagley cover on that with the half Spider-Man skull. But yeah, Mike, final thoughts.
Relax, folks. I'm not going to wallow in the state of utter sadness like some people, like some folks in this after reading this issue. So don't worry. I'm not going to pay. Yeah. So,
and please come on more often. I've missed you.
Yeah.
I've missed you.
Yeah. Same here. So same here.
We've got Sarah's final thoughts.
I just need change. That's all.
Yep. JR, final thoughts, sir.
I can't believe this story is going to go on another 5 issues.
No, there's 5 more. No, 4. Isn't it 4 more?
Yeah,
I think issue 70 is the last one.
But you got some point deaths, points.
Yeah.
Don't forget those deaths. They got some X-Men characters in there, JR. Don't forget those.
Oh, I ain't buying those.
All right. We will be back. All of us will be back, but we're adding more players to the chat. We're going to have Kelly's coming in. We've got Neil. We've got George. Several other. We got Peter coming in. A lot of other people are coming on for the news show. Yes, Gary, your favorite JR will be on the news show to hear your thoughts about Joe Kelly and Pepe Larraz and John Romita Jr. coming back for the ASM volume, whatever the hell it is. So be sure to join that. It will be a full house. Yes, indeed. We will be back in just a few minutes for Spider News. Stay with us.